Where are they from?
Well, they're from Tarrant County, Fort Worth, Port Lavaca, Ohio. That's about the places they're coming from at this time, and then some over at Dallas.
You have them all in jail at this time?
Well, we have part of them. Part of them's out on bond this time. They've done bonded out and gone. We do have a few of them left.
What kind of merchandise have you recovered and the worth of it?
Well, we've got televisions, radios, guns. Those things are valued about $26,595. That'd be the value of those that we've got now. And we've also got some recovery that we made and turned back to Tarrant County. And Tarrant County has that, which is about $12,950 worth of merchandise that Tarrant County has gotten from these burglars that we have here.
So the total is what, around $50,000?
Right at it. Right at $50,000. Just on these two.
Will you make any more arrests in connection with this arrest?
Yes, I think we will. I think we have one now that'll be in Tarrant County Jail that we'll go and question on some of this now that might lead into some more burglary that we've got, which will run back as far as 1969.
Dallas Legal Services Project attorneys Jack Howard and James Hammond overcame a hurdle this morning in U.S. District Judge William M. Taylor's court, put there by former DLSP Chief Ed Polk along with Doug Larson and Ed Cloudman. A motion was filed requesting that Dallas Legal Services be enjoined from representing a class action suit involving 21 plaintiffs in a Dallas desegregation case. Mr. Polk contended that even though they are no longer a public interest law firm as the DLSP is, they should still be able to represent the desegregation class action for a fee. Mr. Hammond, however, contends that this would destroy the very fibers under which the DLSP was founded.
They are representing the plaintiffs, the warm bodies, and we are representing the class. We are still in the lawsuit.
So that the lawsuit now has two sets of lawyers.
You could say that.
Did you regard this as any sort of a victory for you over Ed Polk?
Oh, well, we asked to stay in, and we're in, and we oppose attorney's fees from the standpoint of being originating with Dallas Legal Services, and Judge ruled in that favor.
The DLSP will continue to act as counsel for the Dallas desegregation class action. This is Gene McIntyre at the Federal Building for Channel 8 News on the Move.
Well, we think it's a real fine thing because we're always looking forward to playing fine school like TCU and their athletic programs. Plus, for the county, we feel it's real good in that Arlington is probably the second largest community in Tarrant County besides Fort Worth, and we certainly want to partake in all county activities we can. And we feel this is real good, getting our people over to TCU and seeing, of course, their athletic teams, as well as having the opportunity to play against them.
You've already got one game under your belt, and it wasn't favorable in your eyes. Have you come back off of that game? You ready for TCU, you think, mentally?
We will be by Saturday, yes, sir. Sure will be.
What about injuries?
We didn't have any injuries. Well, nothing that was of serious consequences. We had a few bumps and bruises and cuts and that sort of thing, but nothing of permanent or sustaining damage. We came out in real good shape.
Coach, what do you think about this TCU-UTA County Shootout?
Well, I think it's fine, and certainly it should create a great deal of interest here in this area.
What about your injuries, Coach?
Well, we'll be in better shape as far as injuries are concerned this week than we've been since our preseason practice began. We have all of our people well, I think.
UTA has just come off a ball game. They've already had one baptism under fire, so to speak, with UT El Paso. Is this going to make a difference in the way they play against TCU?
I'm sure it will, Jerry, because the improvement that a team makes after its first game is probably the greatest that it makes all during the season. This has always been true as long as I've been in the profession, and certainly with a new coaching staff taking over, which was true at UTA and is true at our place. We haven't worked together against an opponent since we came in. So we don't know how our squad will react, and I'm sure that we'll make a lot of mistakes similar to Johnny's team out in El Paso. They made a few mistakes. It's kind of pregame jitters, I'm sure, but they settled down and in the late stages of the ball game played real well.
Not really, because there will be many job openings for which veterans will not be qualified. Therefore, these others will be referred to these job openings.
Now, will you attempt to place these men only in those companies doing business with the government?
Certainly not. There have been many other actions taken. Only the federal contractors are required to list their openings with the Employment Services, but we are soliciting cooperation from all other employing establishments.
Are you getting any reaction of, well, here comes the government telling me who to hire now?
Not really. We have received very good cooperation to this point.
The freeze was designed to give this country, give the government time to develop a stabilization program, which would bring down the rate of increases in prices and wages. But you couldn't have a freeze for any period of time much in excess of 90 days without developing severe inequities with respect to all sorts of groups in our economy. Therefore, a Phase 2 program has to be a more flexible one. And so you don't talk about a stabilization program in Phase 2 in the same form that you talk about a freeze. You talk about a more flexible way of dealing with a problem, and one which will promise a diminution in the rate of increase, but not one that is spoken of in the same terms as a freeze.
Yeah. Would it be safe to say then, sir, that Phase 2 is going to attempt to level out some of the inequities that might have occurred during Phase 1?
It has to, of course.
We now have uncontestable evidence that TCU faculty quality and achievement ranks with the top 10% of institutions in the United States. The wonder of it is that these achievements attained such heights while TCU faculty salaries were dropping to the lowest among all major universities.
His name is Lee. A few years ago, he would have stolen your last dollar to get enough money to buy heroin. Today, he's got a good job and plenty of self-respect. He doesn't need to steal because he no longer uses heroin. Lee's on a substitute non-narcotic drug called methadone. That's simply a tablet that diminishes the desire in the addict for heroin. Eventually, after using methadone for a while, the addict's able to taper his dosage down until he's a free man. He's also able to lead a normal life while he's taking the treatment. It doesn't even make him high. Lee gets his methadone here at Dr. P.J. Carter's Village Clinic in Lake Worth. The problem is that the state of Texas is about to close Dr. Carter's program down on October 2nd. A new state law restricts methadone rehabilitation to approved clinics in which addicts have to come in for their daily dose of the synthetic drug.
Definitely interfere with my job because I can't, the line of work that I'm in, when I'm called, I have to go, and heating and air conditioning and refrigeration and maintenance work. I do work for people who demand my presence at all times, you know, and if I leave, I have to figure up an excuse to leave every day to go get the required dose of methadone. Why, I'm afraid I just couldn't stay hooked up on the job very long. Now, since I've started taking methadone, I haven't lost a day's work at all, and I've enjoyed the work I've been doing because I knew I was going to get to do something with the money besides buy H with it.
Dr. Carter gives his patients enough methadone to last for several weeks. The addicts I've talked with say they'll lose their jobs if they have to come into a clinic every day. They tell me they simply can't take the time off work to go get their daily dose. These men and women are very proud of their jobs. You see, they couldn't have held down steady work when they were on heroin. This is Billy. He's a head waiter in a restaurant, but he says he'll probably get fired if Dr. Carter's put out of business. Billy's been out of work before, like the 15 or 20 years he spent in jails and prisons. What were you doing to get money to support $200 a day?
Passing checks, boosting, shortchanging, just stealing, riding every day in cars looking for something to steal off the docks. These docks, different docks in town, different stores.
How much did you have to steal a day? Approximate worth of it?
You got to steal at least $100, $200 a day. Then after you do that, then you may buy some dope that's no good, and you got to go right back out then and go and steal something else. And it's constant, you live in fear of going to jail, constant going to jail and then trying to keep enough money together to keep your habit.
How did you feel with this monkey on your back? Did you ever just wish you were dead?
I have tried it many times. When I first came to Dr. Carter, I've just gotten out of federal prison. And this has been my third time. And I came to him, and I was just despondent. I had just been gone to where I didn't want to go no more. And I came to him, and he helped me.
Billy's like a lot of other addicts I've talked with. He's convinced that if he can no longer come to Village Clinic, he's going to wind up back on heroin and soon back in jail. Some of the doctor's 600 patients say they've been on methadone for over a year, and they've already cut down drastically on their doses. Several tell me that they should be off the stuff within a few months. But then they get depressed and sigh. But if Dr. Carter's going to close down, I guess I'll start on the hard stuff again. P.J. Carter has applied for a state permit to continue his methadone treatment program, but the state has so far denied his petition. Dr. Carter says that the clinics that have so far been approved can't even handle his patient load.
As far as I can determine, there are not enough state methadone clinics. There will not be enough approved clinics to handle the load, mostly the load that I take care of, much less the load in Houston, which is taken care of by St. Joseph's Hospital or by Dr. Knight in Nederland, Texas, or Dr. Pate in San Antonio.
Why can't they take care of them?
In the first place, when a program is research-oriented, it takes so much time away from treatment to become involved in research that there is no time for the patient. And one has to spend many hours of time just to assemble the data necessary to carry on a research program.
Some law enforcement officials, including former Fort Worth Public Safety Director Cato Hightower, have estimated that Dr. Carter's program has prevented up to $240,000 in crime every day. That's based on the fact that a heroin addict may steal $400 worth of merchandise a day to support a $100 habit. These addicts at Village Clinic appear scared. They've been on heroin and they don't like it. They've been in jail and they like that less. But some of them feel that if Dr. Carter doesn't get permission to continue his program, they'll be out robbing and stealing and possibly killing to get heroin money. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move at Village Clinic. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lee, how long have you been a heroin addict?
Well, I really don't know. I guess I
They would have no more job opportunities and economic growth, and no low-cost water transportation. These foes of the Trinity might preserve a few natural areas if they could acquire the land. They seek to decrease the population of the Trinity Valley. They seek to control pollution by methods that are paralyzing industry, precluding vitally needed energy supplies throughout the land, and stifling the payrolls and productivity of our economy. Arlington and Liberty, and for the farmers and